All right, it is getting spicy. So this is the rematch between BAB and OTOM, and this is round 4. If you guys remember round 1, right? BAB completely embarrassed OTOM 3-0, right? They took out their baguettes and they just beat OTOM across the face with them, and they said, "Get out of this round." They 3-0'd them, but OTOM, they took a breather, they took some medication, and they rallied back. They've won all their series since then. So along with that, they were able to win their first game of this. This is a BO2, so they won game 1, and this is game 2. And if they're able to win this, at least maybe they lost the first series, but they're going to win the second, which is exciting. I'm always a sucker for, redemption arcs, and I think it's great that just OTM was able to say, we have pride, as degenerates. We shit post in all these discords, and we need to represent that out in bar in the community. And here they are, they're able to deliver and circle back. So Ural, talk to me. How are you feeling about this rematch, this potential, reverse sweep?
Well, it's good to see that they're not daunted by these opponents that have taken them out in the first round, and that they're able to take that win on Delta Siege Dry in their first game in this series. And would it be quite the comeback if they're able to play into the same maps that they lost on and win both of them? It's going to be interesting to see if they're able to get the full victory or if they're tying it up here. But interesting that both teams have opted into playing the same maps for their second series.
Yeah, did they just not practice any other maps? They're like, all right, boys, we got 4 maps. These are what we pick. If they get banned, we're cooked. Or do you think OTM was like, you know what? This is our redemption arc, and we're just gonna run it back, 100% run it back. I mean, hey, for DSD, right? For game 1, it worked for them. So for game 2, maybe they're like, you know what? We're gonna run it back, but this time we're gonna win.
That could be the case. They definitely had a much stronger showing on the DSD game the second time around. Their first series, there was definitely some stuff that needed a little bit of refining, a little bit of cleaning up. That definitely did get cleaned up for their rematch. They played much better, I'd say, on their second match on DSD against BAB. So
yeah, I think the second match was just a lot cleaner. I feel like they had better mechs allocation. I feel like Chummers did a really good job with air. So yeah, all in all, I think it was just it was much better. So I'm excited to see if they're able to rally for Red Rock as well. And it looks like players are loading in now, so we just need to give it 1 second and we will get going. Anytime now, boys. All right, and let's hop in. We see spawns. So it looks like reverse of the last time they played.
Mirrored spawns coming in here. Both teams spawning what I assume to be their air player, as Space Drunk and Chummers have, for both of these teams, been playing air in all of their matches, spawning on the island. So we're not going to have that asymmetry of spawns that we had in their previous matchup, and it looks like Off Topic Off Meds have adapted their strategy. Maybe if that's in response to their previous match, or maybe if that's just due to the fact that Chummers is here and that they're a little bit more confident with this setup.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see, because last time I feel like Helicopter won bottom just because he started on the 5 mech spawn, and Dylan, who was their sub, had started in the water, took the 1 mechs and then walked up and kind of had done the forward lab, and he sort of just got out eco'd. Okay. Just ignore chat. They are truly off of their meds. Just don't listen to anything they're saying. Apologies. So
they've gotten their team name for a reason. These guys a little bit off topic, potentially off their meds as well. Looking to have a little bit of a better showing here on Red Rock Desert.
All right, so Aiden is arm. I hope he's going to do a low ground lab. We'll see if he goes bots or vehicles. Looks like
given that he's not placed his lab yet, I would hazard a guess that he's likely to go for the lab on the low ground.
Yeah, I feel like it's just vastly superior to do that as opposed to the high ground. Crop rotation is core bots. Lenore is core vehicles, which is kind of an interesting choice. Victor,
Not seen too often, the core vehicles, but yeah.
Well, I feel like a T1, it's usable. T2 is where it kind of all falls apart and you just cry as you get killed by superior units from other labs.
The tier 2 core vehicle lab, definitely one of the labs that is in the game. That's about all the good things I have to say about it.
All right, and let's see. Can Chummer get the scout off? He sees the air player, and it looks like his scout is out sooner, so he's going to get full view. He sees Helicopter's lab, another core vehicle lab there, so he's going to scout everyone. So they know spawns and they know starting labs, and they see that Sphere actually did the high ground bot lab here, and Aiden did the low ground vehicle lab. So I feel like this top lane, there's that kind of potential where if you don't steamroll early with rocket bots, you just get overwhelmed by vehicles. So I kind of feel like top is on a little bit of a timer.
Yeah, that's sort of the classic dynamic of the bot lab versus the vehicle lab, is that the bot lab is able to kind of get up and off the ground a little bit faster, and you're sort of able to reach that critical mass of units sooner, but that the vehicle lab kind of has that inevitability of once you reach that 10, 20 tanks on the field, there's not really a lot that you can really respond with outside of maybe turrets as a bots player, that the vehicles will sort of outscale, at least in the tier 1 phase. And if Aiden is able to leverage that, especially with his forward lab placement, it could go very much in his favor.
Yeah, and he has a trans too, so he's going to be able to fly. Is he going to go for the high ground, or is he going to go for the LLTs in lane?
It'll be interesting to see how that transport gets used. He's not actually done too very much with the transport yet. Interesting to see that he's opted to place so much of his base on the high ground here, as it's going to be so much safer from raiding, despite the fact that his constructor is down there on the low ground.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I feel that like elsewhere, there's so many grunts here just running. I'm a little concerned. Oh, never mind. Aiden dropped double LLTs, but can't Elsewhere just run past straight into crop rotation's base and just kill it?
Well, he has to be able to actually know that he can do that. It's going to come up to whether or not he has the courage to run in there. There's also the threat of shurikens always present, where it's a little bit, it's a little bit of a gamble with how far you want to run units into enemy territory, because if they're able to get reclaimed on the stun from the shurikens, you're donating the full metal value of the unit. So it's a little bit scary to go for that play.
Lenore versus Enigma fighting here, and it looks like Enigma Incisor versus Lasher Pounder, that's going to be a rough fight in that kind of narrow choke. And Victor versus Helicopter. It feels like Helicopter has fought Aiden in a lot of these, so it's kind of interesting to see this mix up. But Victor already has his whistlers coming out. Helicopter has his as well, so probably going to see some more very engaging whistler repair gameplay on bottom.
You'll love to see it. Mostly as a caster, because you can look away and not worry about it, because basically nothing happens.
There's a lot of grunts. Can these grunts actually close in? Maybe not on top.
I feel like he's kind of got to, no? As the in the bot versus vehicle matchup, if you can dive onto those whistlers earlier on in the game and sort of thin out their numbers, you're going to have a much better shot at being able to sort of stave off that inevitable death ball of vehicles that can sort of spell disaster for the bot player later in the game.
This is really bold from Aiden. That is maybe a little dangerous, but he gets the D gun. That's how, so he can stabilize that. But Lenore is kind of cooking Enigma over here. It seems like these whistlers are chipping away, and Enigma swapped to Lashers, but I'm always a little concerned when you do a late Lasher swap, because you're never going to have the numbers to compete.
Yeah, it's more stuff better than less stuff. So when your opponent already has Lashers, why are you going to make less Lashers than your opponent is already killing you with? I feel like he'd be much better off going to the Wolverines, as they have the range advantage on the Whistlers, and maybe he'd be able to get a little bit more done here.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I think you can just hold with the calm and LLTs and just repair, and then you can just Wolverine and kind of push them back. Interesting that Space Drunk pulled his comm off of his lab. I mean, he does have a nano there, but Chummers is keeping his lab just as BP along with the nano. It looks like he's going to drop a trans now, so we'll see if either of these players take their commanders out on the map and be a little bit more active.
And there he goes, Chummers in his transport. Looks like he's going to try to seize control of some of those high ground mexes.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the right call. Lenore's pushed really far forward, and crop rotation doesn't have that many units. I mean, he's got double twin guards, a Dragon's Maw, and a nano, and as it turns out, towers don't move, so I'm a little concerned that if Lenore keeps pushing, Vetter can just come down and sandwich him.
Yeah, that's a great way to end up 1 versus 2 if your ally there has invested most of his resources into the static defenses. On the bright side for Lenore here is that he is at least playing vehicles and Vedor is on bots. So it's going to be a little bit harder for the bots army to contest the group of lashers here out of Lenore.
Yeah, and Vedor actually prepared for this. He brought 2 AAK bots, so they were able to pick off some of those Shuris, and Chummers isn't able to have too much of an impact, which is a little scary, right? Because Helicopter has Whistlers, Enigma has Whistlers, Lord Vetter has AA bots, and Elsphere is going Lasher as well. And so Chummers, I almost feel like, needs to just not break out really too many more Shuris because they're countered everywhere.
I do like this transition into vehicles from Elsphere. You know, that sort of reached the stage where Aidanaut has enough Whistlers that it's really hard to contest that for the bot lab. So switching into vehicles to be able to fight back against Aiden's tank composition here is definitely a good choice.
Yeah, and he has the rocket bots, right? Because normally it's like, oh, if you do the swap and you don't have the units, it's hard, but he has the rocket bots to kind of give it that extra oomph so he can equalize it. Looks like Victor's kind of getting pushed back, though.
Helicopter's had a very strong showing in a lot of his games today, just really showing that he's quite proficient with this ARM vehicle composition and able to, you know, push back Aidanaut in their previous series multiple times.
Yeah, I like it. I also feel like he kind of has a slightly better unit mix. You know, like he's got Janus, he's got Shell Shockers, he's got just a lot of stuff, and the pure stout Whistler I think isn't fighting into it quite as well. Although I say that and I realize now that Victor also has quite a number of those units. It seems like his Shell Shockers are trading much better from Helicopter, though. I'm not sure why.
It could just be, you know, a slightly different approach to the way that the units are microed. It's definitely, I'd say that you know, people like to joke about how you know, Janus and ARM vehicles in general are kind of overpowered, free win, whatever. But I'd say that there's actually a decent amount of skill expression in how the units are controlled between these different groups of units, and just like what orders you issue when and how can make a big difference, especially in these tier 1 battles. What
is Chummers doing right now?
He's going for a walk.
I feel like that. Okay. Have we confirmed they are in fact on their medication? Because that felt like
Chummers
really
may actually be off of them in this particular moment. That was I respect the vision. You know, I see what he's kind of going for. He's looking to sort of get a bunch of damage onto the army so that Victor's able to get the edge here against Helicopter, as he's running with these shurikens as well, doing everything he can to try to give Victor the edge here, as Helicopter was sort of winning out on those trades, but now it looks like Victor going for a bit of a dive here, diving in, picking off a bunch of units, maybe even looking for the commander snipe on Helicopter as he's pushing forward here pretty aggressively, looking to control that wreck of Chummers' commander.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got wreck control now, right? And it looks like Heli is completely pushed off, right? He's backed up a bit. One scary thing is when your comm gets this low versus Whistlers. I mean, Whistlers have awful damage, but when your comm gets low, you do have to be careful, and you can't use it to you can't use it as freely to repair. Victor is feasting on this metal, though. I mean, there's 2.5k, and I think he's going to get the majority of it. At the same time, it looks like Lord Vetter is kind of shoving through crop rotation, although I say that now, and never mind, there's multiple Dragon's Claws, and he's getting Wolverines out.
It's a lot harder to die when you've got those Dragon's Claws in front, especially with construction turrets behind them. So, but it looks like as much as Chummers may not have gotten the comm bomb that he was quite looking for, that it was effective enough to push Helicopter back so that Victor is able to secure the wreckage. So it does look like, even though it might not have gone exactly to plan, that it is more or less going somewhat according to the vision that they had in mind.
Lenore snipes Enigma's comm. Oh, and he got
great explosion there, and so much of the army going down.
Yeah, I mean, that's brutal, right? And he has a lot of stouts with lashers behind him. I feel like he can just straight run in, right? There are Shuris, but with
the lashers are there.
Yeah, with 6 lashers, there's no way. And at the same time, Victor is pushing. Oh boy. BAB is definitely getting shoved back here. OTOM, they've woken
Bomber comes in from Space Drunk trying to take out these Whistlers.
Yeah, it just does nothing.
I feel like bombing AA is one of the things that you can do.
Definitely, it's one of the things. It might not be one of the advisable things. Although, to be fair, he brings like 6 bombers to try to kill the lashers of Lenore, and he gets 1, but loses a number of bombers.
Of a whiff. Maybe not the best targeting on those bombers, or maybe a great dodge out of Lenore. But it looks like most of the lashers are still standing here, as these bombers are looking to fly over, going over crop rotation.
Yeah, he swapped back. Oh, wait, where is Lord Vader going? He just picked up his comm. Wait, Chummers has fighters. Oh no, Vader, you gotta put yourself down. Oh god, it's close. Okay.
Oh my goodness, that was by the hair of his teeth that Commander gets out of that transport. My goodness, dude, that could have been disaster.
Yeah, that was not looking good, but
and over the units as well, that could have really been. Yeah, and both of these players going into Helicopter's base. Helicopter basically 1v2 here, as Enigma is not really able to do very much to stop his opponent Lenore from walking in.
Yeah, I think this might just be game. I think, especially once Enigma's comm went down, that's brutal. I was laughing at Chummers running his commander in, but you're right. He was able to essentially just kill enough and distract Helicopter enough that Victor could win that bottom lane, and I think Lenore is just going to snipe everyone's eco, right? There's no...
These tanks are free, they're running wild, they're rampaging through the back lines here of Beyond All Baguettes, killing windmills left and right, getting some converters in here.
Oh, and it looks like Enigma just dropped, so that is a resign. If anyone on your team rage quits or resigns, that counts for your entire team. So even though they're still kind of playing it out a bit, this is going to mean that OTOM are in fact the winners.
And wow. Coming back strong, 2-0 in the Revenge series. Really great showing. Really well played by Lenore in this second game, and the first game actually looking a lot stronger in this second series.
Yeah, I feel definitely the addition of Chummers really changed kind of the team dynamic. I think maybe Dylan probably wasn't quite degen enough, and so they really needed that additional kind of depravity and sort of like moral ineptitude from Chummers to kind of get themselves in gear.
Yeah, that team synergy is really important, right? Like if you're all on the same page, you've all got sort of the same idea of what you're on about. It's you'll have a much better time. So 100%. Chummers really leading the team here.
We're not sure what he's leading the team in, but he's definitely leading the team. And wow, T2 out for Lenore. I completely missed that, but Tigers are in the base. I'm a little confused why BAB hasn't called it yet.
Yeah, as per the rules of the tournament, I mean, by all means, they're able to play the game out, but for the point of the tournament, that the game is just sort of over as soon as one of or more players resign.
Yeah, and they officially call it. Yeah,
the GG well played comes out. Yeah,
that was. I mean, shout out to OTOM. I mean, I definitely think it's a little crazy that they picked the same maps, but it's awesome that they just kind of ran it back and they were able to do it. And you were right, man. I mean, Lenore in the first game did very well. In this game, he gets his cow, so he put in some work, to put it lightly.
Yeah, definitely really looking strong here, especially in the second game, just absolutely crushing his opponent, getting into the bases, getting that economic damage that really, I think, set Beyond All Baguettes into that defeated mindset. So
yeah, I mean, shout out. So going into round 5, it looks like OTOM will pull ahead of Beyond All Baguettes. So great work for them and awesome perseverance to survive through the rounds and then come back for the glorious rematch. Hopefully they don't spread too much degeneracy as they continue on their warpath, but we'll find out in round 5.
Yeah, save that stuff for the Twitch chat, guys. Like, let's keep the gameplay clean.
That's right. All right. We will see you guys later. Have a good one.
Cheers.